On November 19, 2025, tragedy struck the quiet town of Tiffin, Ohio, a place where neighbors know each other by name and the pace of life is gentle. That evening, as the sun set over the tree-lined streets, an unimaginable event unfolded that would forever alter the fabric of this close-knit community. On Huss Street, a peaceful neighborhood known for its friendly faces and safe environment, the ordinary was shattered. The stillness of the evening was pierced by sirens and the flashing lights of emergency vehicles, signaling that something terrible had happened. What should have been a sanctuary, a family home filled with laughter and love, became the scene of a devastating loss. In a moment of unimaginable violence, a father took the lives of his two young sons and a family friend, before turning the tragedy upon himself. The home, once a place of comfort, was transformed into a site of heartbreak and unanswered questions. News of the tragedy spread quickly, sending shockwaves through every corner of Tiffin. Neighbors gathered in disbelief, struggling to comprehend how such horror could strike so close to home. The sense of safety that once defined Huss Street was replaced by a heavy silence, as families locked their doors and held their loved ones a little tighter. First responders, neighbors, and friends were left grappling with overwhelming sorrow and confusion. The pain was not limited to those directly involved, it radiated outward, touching everyone who called this community home. The tragedy forced people to confront the fragility of life and the hidden struggles that can exist behind closed doors. This was not a random act of violence, but a deeply personal tragedy rooted in domestic conflict. It served as a stark reminder that even in the most familiar places, beneath the surface, there can be pain and turmoil invisible to the outside world. Families and friends were left searching for answers, wondering if anything could have been done to prevent such a loss. The events on Huss Street force us to confront the painful reality that sometimes the greatest dangers are found not from strangers, but within our own homes. The empty toys on the lawn and the silence in the house are haunting reminders of lives cut short and futures lost. In the aftermath, families leaned on each other, seeking comfort and understanding in a time of profound grief. As Tiffin mourns, the community has come together in ways both big and small, organizing vigils, leaving flowers and notes, and offering support to those most affected. In the face of darkness, the importance of compassion, connection, and supporting one another has never been clearer. The heartbreak on Huss Street will not soon be forgotten, but neither will the resilience and unity of a town determined to heal. At the heart of this story are the lives lost and forever changed. This tragedy is not just a headline or a statistic. It is a deeply personal loss that has rippled through families, friends, and the entire community. Each person touched by this event carries a unique story, a set of memories, and a pain that cannot be measured. The sorrow is felt in every corner of Tiffin, Ohio, as neighbors come together to mourn, to remember, and to try to make sense of the unimaginable. At the center was a mother, enduring the strain of a difficult marriage and doing everything she could to protect her two young sons. Her days were filled with worry and hope, as she tried to create a safe and loving home for her children, a bright, curious 7-year-old boy and his baby brother, just 7 months old. She faced challenges that many could not imagine, but her love for her children was unwavering. She was determined to give them a better future, even as she navigated uncertainty and fear. The lives of these two boys, so full of promise and innocence, were tragically cut short in a single devastating moment of violence. Their laughter, their dreams, and the futures they might have had are now memories cherished by those who loved them. The loss of such young lives is a wound that will never fully heal, leaving behind only the echoes of what could have been. Also present that day was Dustin Willey, a 29-year-old friend whose kindness and generosity defined him. Dustin was there simply to help the mother move her belongings, a gesture of friendship and support that so many take for granted. He was the kind of person who showed up when others needed him most, never expecting anything in return. In a cruel twist of fate, this act of compassion cost him his life, leaving his own family and friends to grieve a loss that feels both senseless and profound. The father, Ryan Eagon, 42, was a man in deep crisis. Struggling with his own demons, he made choices that shattered the lives of those around him. His actions left a legacy of heartbreak and questions that may never be fully answered. The pain he caused is felt not only by his family, but by an entire community searching for understanding and healing. Yet, in the midst of this darkness, the community remembers the innocence of the children and the compassion of Dustin. These are the qualities that shine through the tragedy: the love, the kindness, and the hope that people brought to each other, even in the hardest of times. Vigils, flowers, and shared stories have become ways for the community to honor those lost and to support one another. Their loss is a powerful reminder of the need to protect the vulnerable among us, to reach out to those who are struggling, and to never underestimate the impact of a simple act of kindness. The tragedy has inspired many to become more involved, to offer support, and to advocate for those who may be at risk. It is also a call to action, to strengthen mental health resources, to provide support for families in crisis, and to ensure that no one feels alone in their darkest moments. The community has come together to create new programs, support groups, and outreach efforts, determined to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. In their memory, Tiffin seeks not only healing, but also understanding and hope for a safer, more compassionate future. The legacy of those lost will live on in the actions and hearts of those who remain. The tragedy began with a mother's brave and heartbreaking choice to leave a troubled marriage. For months, she had endured a home filled with tension and uncertainty, always putting her children's well-being first. The decision to walk away was not made lightly. It was the result of countless sleepless nights, quiet tears, and whispered promises to her sons that things would get better. She knew that staying meant exposing her children to more pain, and so, with a heavy heart, she resolved to find a safer path for them all. Her greatest wish was to create a safer life for her sons, to give them a chance at happiness and peace. Every step she took was guided by love and the hope that, one day, her boys would look back and understand the courage it took to leave. Believing her husband was out of town, she returned to the house on Huss Street with Dustin Willey, a trusted friend, to collect her belongings. The plan was to move quickly and quietly, to avoid any confrontation or escalation. She hoped to slip in and out unnoticed, gathering the pieces of her life and starting anew. Her children waited outside, clutching their backpacks and each other, sensing the gravity of the moment. She tried to make the transition as smooth as possible, reassuring them with gentle words and forced smiles, even as her own heart raced with anxiety. The plan was simple: gather her things and leave quietly, avoiding confrontation at all costs. She moved through the rooms with purpose, packing away memories and necessities, each item a reminder of the life she was leaving behind. She acted out of love and caution, her every movement careful and deliberate. She was unaware that a single miscalculation, a piece of information she trusted, would change everything. The fear of being discovered lingered in the air, but she pressed on, determined to protect her children. The information she relied on, that her husband was away, proved tragically wrong. In a moment, the fragile sense of safety she had clung to shattered, replaced by shock and dread as the door opened unexpectedly. In seeking safety, she walked into unimaginable danger. The home she once knew became a place of fear, and the future she had hoped for seemed to slip further from reach. Her actions were those of a mother doing her best in an impossible situation, fighting for her children's safety, even when the odds were stacked against her. In that moment, her strength and love shone through, a testament to the lengths a mother will go to protect her family. The calm was shattered by the cry of her son. Rushing outside, the mother and Dustin found Eagon unexpectedly in the driveway. In a flash, fear replaced any sense of safety. Eagon, armed and enraged, confronted Dustin and then turned his violence on his own children. The horror escalated rapidly. He shot both sons, then Dustin, and finally himself. In mere moments, 4 lives were lost, and a mother's world was destroyed. The driveway, once a place of family life, became a scene of heartbreak. The violence was sudden, absolute, and left no room for intervention. The tragedy unfolded in seconds, leaving devastation in its wake. In the aftermath, the mother's instinct was to save her children. She carried them inside, desperate for help, but the damage was irreversible. The baby died at the scene. The 7-year-old passed away at the hospital despite doctors' efforts. Dustin Willey, gravely wounded, also died at the hospital. Only the mother survived, left with grief no words can capture. Her loss is immeasurable, her pain invisible but profound. The community mourns with her, recognizing the depth of her suffering. In the face of such loss, Tiffin stands together in sorrow and support. Emergency calls brought Tiffin's police and rescue teams racing to Huss Street. First responders faced a scene of overwhelming tragedy: 4 victims, a grieving mother, and a community in shock. Their professionalism and compassion were tested as they provided aid and secured the area. No shots were fired by law enforcement. Their focus was on saving lives and piecing together what happened. The emotional toll on these responders is immense. They are neighbors and parents, too. The investigation began immediately, with local and state agencies working together. Autopsies and evidence collection are underway to provide answers and closure. Their work is vital for healing and justice in the wake of such devastation. News of the tragedy spread quickly, casting a shadow over Tiffin. In this close-knit town, the loss felt personal to everyone. Vigils and gatherings offered comfort, as residents reached out to support the surviving mother. Police Chief David Pauley spoke for all, acknowledging the shared pain and the need for compassion. Grief counseling and support services were mobilized for families, neighbors, classmates, and first responders. The tragedy reminded everyone of the power of community in times of crisis. Through prayers, messages, and acts of kindness, Tiffin shows its resilience. United in mourning, the community finds strength in each other. Amid public grief, the mother's private pain must be respected. Protected by Marsy's law, her identity and her children's names remain confidential. This privacy is a small mercy, allowing her space to grieve without intrusion. The community and media are urged to honor these boundaries and avoid speculation. Compassion, not curiosity, should guide our response. Supporting survivors means respecting their needs and the ongoing investigation. Grief counseling and mental health resources are essential for all affected. By fostering respect and patience, Tiffin can help a mother begin to heal. As shock gives way to grief, Tiffin faces a long road to healing. There are no easy answers, but unity and compassion will light the way. Professional support and open conversations about domestic violence are crucial. The tragedy is a call to protect families in crisis and support those who need help. By honoring the lost and caring for the survivors, the community can find hope. The memory of 2 innocent boys and a kind friend inspires a legacy of compassion. Together, Tiffin will heal. One step, one act of kindness at a time.